So welcome back guys to We Talk Boxing, and today I'm going to be talking about a fight which is going to be taking place on this weekend between Adeleye versus Solomon Dacres. Now this sees both guys go up against each other for the English heavyweight title, which it's going to be fought in Wembley, well, Wembley Arena to be precise. So this is the first time both of these guys are going to be fighting off against each other, and it seems like a very intriguing, good matchup between both guys. Now, Adeleye is coming off a loss in his last fight to Fabio Wardley, which was at the back end of last year. So that was October last year, where he took on Fabio Wardley for the British, Commonwealth, and WBO European heavyweight belts. But obviously, he got knocked out in 7 rounds. Now, he hasn't been active since that knockout, and I'm not sure whether or not he was serving a ban, or whether or not he was injured, or he had some issues going on with his promoter behind the scenes. I'm not too sure, but he hasn't been out, and this is going to be the first fight for this year, so he's very much inactive. But for those that don't know, Adeleye, he's currently had 13 professional fights, 12 wins with 11 KOs to his name. He's got one loss on his record, and that was a KO loss, which I just mentioned, to Fabio Wardley. He's currently got a 91.67 according to BoxRec KO percentage, which is very high in terms of the heavyweights, but he hasn't really fought anyone with significant value in terms of could test him all the way, apart from Fabio Wardley, and we know what happened there. Also with David Adeleye, he's quite tall as well, so 6'4.5" in height, according to BoxRec as well. But yeah, he's currently a novice heavyweight, but this is some drop from the British heavyweight belt, which he obviously contested for in his last fight. So I do see him as potentially the favourite in this fight, because if he's got anything to try and do in terms of the heavyweight scene, if he wants to be a world champion or be a contender, then you need to be getting past someone like a Solomon Dacres. No disrespect to Solomon Dacres, but Solomon Dacres as well is a fighter who is on the rise. He's currently 9-0 with 3 KOs to his name, so still unbeaten, and he is the English heavyweight champion. So again, being an English heavyweight champion will put you in good stead in terms of your next potential fight, whereas you could potentially fight for, let's say, the British and potentially even Commonwealth belts as well, because you are the English champion. But he hasn't really fought against anyone of significant value yet, so this is his biggest test to date. He's fought once this year, and prior to that he fought at the back end of last year, but he is a lot more active compared to David Adeleye. But he fought the same guy twice. So the first fight, I don't know who this guy was, but was close on the scorecard, so that's why these guys ran it back for the English title for the second time, and that's why he beat him twice. So this is his second victory against Michael Webster. But in terms of Solomon Dacres, 31 years of age, 33.3% KO rate, with his height being 6'5" according to BoxRec as well, and he's an orthodox boxer. So yeah, should be a very intriguing fight. Now, I've watched a little bit of footage of Solomon Dacres, and in terms of what he brings to this fight, he's going to be tough, he's going to be ready, he's going to be rugged. But in terms of skill for skill, I consider David Adeleye to have the better boxing skills in this fight, and I believe he will potentially get to Solomon Dacres. I believe he will probably stop him in the latter part of the fight. Even though he is quite rugged, it is a 10-round contest, but I do believe David Adeleye will probably stop his man. As I said, he does possess the better boxing skills as well, and he has to try and keep it at range rather than try and get mixed up with Solomon Dacres, because Dacres wants that. He wants him to bring it toe to toe, so he could try and rough him up and get the victory that way. So now, before I let this video go on too long, this fight, the winner has got a good chance of potentially fighting for the British title next. The reason why I say that is because we're hearing rumours that Fabio Wardley is going to be fighting a world level credible opponent next year, meaning that is he going to keep hold of his British title, is always going to vacate it. I feel that he'll probably vacate it, meaning that when you're looking at BoxRec or the British rankings, a lot of the top guys who are ranked above David Adeleye and Solomon Dacres, you know what I mean, have already either fought for the British title before or potentially see themselves too far above that level to fight for it. The only exception I'd probably say is Lawrence Okoli, who's recently moved up to heavyweight. Could he maybe look to fight for British heavyweight title next? Does he feel that that title is maybe above him? Who knows? And then the only other ones that I'd probably say who may probably consider to fight for that title will probably be a Moses Atalma or maybe even a Johnny Fisher, because both of those guys haven't won that belt before, so they could potentially look to try and add that to their resume as well. So yeah, the winner potentially could go on to maybe fight for the vacant British title against a credible British heavyweight, rather than or even maybe against Fabio Wardley, depending on what he wants to do with that title. But these are my thoughts. Stay tuned, and obviously I'll post more videos in regards to these next up and coming fights. As always, please subscribe and comment. Bless.